Glad to be joined by the head coach of the St. John Sea Dogs, New Brunswick native Gordie Dwyer. Gordie, how you doing?
Great, Kris. Thanks for having me.
Oh, pleasure to speak with you. Glad to see a New Brunswick guy here, the head coach position behind the bench here in the Q. I believe you're the only New Brunswick-born guy head coaching here in the Quebec League this year. So congratulations on that. I'm sure it's glad to be back. You've been away for a couple of years.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. But yeah, absolutely, great to be back, and really enjoyed my time in the Quebec League as a player and as a coach, and being away for a few years. It's great to be back in the league. Great to be back in St. John.
Well, yeah, and I suppose a couple of people may have wondered where you went after Charlottetown, but you've spent 4 or 5 years here overseas in the KHL. Maybe tell us a little bit about that experience of coaching professionally overseas and what you've sort of learned and are bringing back to the Q here with your latest stint here in St. John.
Well, it's exactly just that. I think, as a coach, all our different experiences help shape us and give us a different perspective. And very fortunate to have worked in the KHL, spent some time in Switzerland as well. And, not only the challenge of coaching internationally and different players at the highest level outside the National Hockey League, but, navigating that schedule and those travel schedules as well. So playing in a lot of different countries, it was a great opportunity, real good chance to see the world and coach different hockey in different places. And ultimately, hockey's hockey, right? So that's one thing we always remember, but really bring back a lot of really good experience and some real good stories from my time over there, and really appreciated my time.
Yeah, like I said, a lot of people, great experience to get over there and experience that. I'm sure some of the road trips maybe to Moncton or Bathurst are a little shorter than what you're doing in Russia. But like you said, you took the job here, opportunity came up in St. John. And this was even before the announcement of the Memorial Cup coming here this spring. What was it about the opportunity here in St. John that really attracted you to it, to step up here as the head coach?
Well, you know what, there's not that many real good opportunities in junior hockey to coach, and let alone in your home province and for an organization like St. John. So it's always been on the radar of mine. It's always been part of my bucket list to be able to spend some time here in St. John and coach the franchise. And, it starts with ownership. You look at Scott McCain and what he's done for this organization and for this town and for this city, what he means to this hockey team. And, the strength and ownership is so important at the junior level. And then it goes to the organization with Trevor Georgie in charge here, and put a real good bid in place for the Memorial Cup, put a good hockey team in place here as well. And just the opportunity to come in this year and lead the way here in such an important season for the Sea Dogs is something that I see as a great opportunity, and something that was obviously definitely worth pursuing and worth the opportunity. So yeah, great to be here. Really enjoying the season so far, and yeah, so much excitement around the hockey team.
Well, yeah. Obviously, news earlier this year of the Memorial Cup being awarded to St. John, in large part due to the ownership group that is there and Trevor Georgie. But like you said, you inherit a pretty skilled team coming back from your experience in Russia. What was sort of a couple of the first things you really wanted to instill in your new roster here coming into St. John?
Well, in junior hockey, I think it's really important to have some structure in place. And, obviously it's a development league, and we want to balance the development side of it and really push the performance side of it. So having that structure in place is really important. And, you look at the identity of the hockey team, and that's something that really screams to fans and as an organization, really important. So really wanted to focus on the structure piece for our team, especially defensively, and implement some structure and look to execute within the structure, and then really push that team identity piece. We want to be a team that's really competitive. We want to be a team that's hard to play against, and a team that really pushes that identity that our fans can adhere to. So that was really the focus for us initially here. It continues on, with really pushing the execution within our structure, but really putting those pieces in place are really the first steps here.
Yeah, like you said, sort of addressing defensive, needs here first of all. A couple of years ago when St. John was challenging for the Memorial Cup and the President's Cup champions, really the strength of the team back then was the blue line, with Shabbat and Zboril and, Bailey Webster and Chase Stewart, some big bodies on the blue line. You got a pretty nice top four here in St. John as it is, with Villeneuve and Poirier and DeRoche and Ennis. Maybe tell us a little bit what you're looking to get out of the back end here, and if they're going to step up and lead going forward here into the playoffs.
Well, exactly, Chris. It's, we feel it's a position of strength for our hockey team, and there's some experience here with the names that you've mentioned here and some of the players in our uniform. So, it's really about really putting the structure in place and how we want to play collectively defensively. Some of the areas we want to continue to improve on, and cut down on the odd man rushes, work for D zone stops, and just be able to use our gear physically to get some stops as well. So I think building on that identity piece, we have some good pieces in place and how we want to play defensively, how we want to play individually, how we want to play collectively. And, obviously need the horses for it. We feel like we've got a lot of good players here in St. John. So the pieces are in place and we continue to add to those pieces and add to our structure and look to execute.
Yep. I mean, obviously, your time in the Q and in the NHL, you were known for your hands and your character. Maybe not for goal scoring, but well versed in the skill department. Maybe tell us a little bit about maybe if you gained anything, or since you left from Charlottetown going to the KHL, if there's anything sort of offensively or defensively that you've gained coming back, either implementing in special teams, power play, penalty kill, or even just your coaching philosophy or structure here with the new roster.
Well, again, it's really important to be progressive as a coach and continue to work on your craft and continue to, take those experiences and implement them as you move forward, right?
Yep.
So I definitely feel that my experience in Charlottetown was great. It was my first opportunity to coach in the CHL, and really enjoyed my time at Charlottetown. It was a great opportunity for me to really cut my teeth coaching at this level, and then to be able to move on and coach professionally at a high level. It was a really good experience for me. And from that point on, the multiple assignments with Hockey Canada, I look back at the under-18s this summer and this spring here with Team Canada winning a world championship, part of that group, and some of the things that we had in place there, and the multiple Spangler Cup assignments. So a lot of different experiences have gave me those, different opportunities, different tools. And I think coming back, it really comes back to that team identity piece, how we play collectively, the structure that we need to adhere to, how we execute within the structure, and then just building that identity of how our team has to play, that mindset that we're looking for, the challenge, that the competitiveness of our players, and really create that competitive environment and push that game in and game out.
No, absolutely. So looking, like you said, you guys have a nice looking roster here who've been improving here throughout the year. I guess I wanted to ask you a little bit about as well, growing up in Bath or in Dalhousie in the North Shore, senior hockey was a big part of the hockey scene up north. What really gets you involved or hooked, passionate about the game of hockey to pursue it in the Q and into the professional level?
Well, yeah, it starts young. It's humble roots in northern New Brunswick, and my father was part of the Dalhousie Rangers, and senior hockey was really popular back in the day. And there was a few people in particular, a few players that we looked up to as younger players. And I know in particular, Gordie Gallant was a fan favorite in northern New Brunswick, and they called him Gordie the Machine Gun Gallant. And got a chance to meet Gordie when I was a few years back, and Gordie Gallant was known as being a real tough guy, and my dad was a trainer for the Dalhousie Rangers back in the day, and so when I was born, I was named after Gordie Gallant and Gordie Howe at the same time. So I always felt that there was my place in hockey. I really enjoyed it. I moved to Nakwik after, spent some time in Nakwik, spent some time in Quebec as a kid as well, and just loved the game, loved the competitiveness about it. I just, the game's been really good to me, and I treat it with a lot of respect. I love the game of hockey, but it's been great to me and my family. Yeah.
Well, that's, wild that I didn't realize you were named after Gordie Gallant, obviously from Shediac. Remember him playing here for the Alpines and the MB Hawks, the AHL back in the day here, and then obviously played a number of years senior. But, even, like you said, growing up sort of small town, rural New Brunswick, how did you sort of make that jump to going to the Q at that time when really there wasn't a whole lot of New Brunswick guys playing in sort of the Q, which was solely based in Quebec, so going to Holland, to Beauport at that time, how was that experience for a young guy out of New Brunswick?
Well, yeah, you know what, Chris, the one thing that really helped me, I think, in my minor hockey career is that, I got my start in Nakwik, New Brunswick. My family lived in Nakwik, and my father still lives in Nakwik. And, back then we could spend a lot of time on the ice in the rinks and, on days off and shift work, and then the ice was open. So there was an opportunity to really get a head start in minor hockey. And, I really took to the game, really enjoyed it. For myself, it was just something that, I really enjoyed doing, really enjoyed it with my friends. And then from that point on, I got a chance to play minor hockey in Quebec as well. And, those different opportunities, those different experiences kind of led to, just kind of making the steps. I loved the game of hockey. I wanted to play in the National Hockey League. That became the ultimate goal. But at the same time, it wasn't about that. It was about really enjoying the process. I really enjoyed my time season after season and, try to do my best. And, as you moved on down the road, the opportunities presented itself, and I was fortunate enough to work my way to the National Hockey League.
Yeah, well, like I said, pretty illustrious career here in the NHL. Spent some time with Montreal, Tampa Bay. Any memories in particular, I guess, from your NHL days that you look back fondly on?
Well, I think that fortunate enough to play some games in the National Hockey League, and I think about my first game in Montreal. It was a Saturday night game against the Toronto Maple Leafs on Hockey Night in Canada, and that was a big moment. I think about my first game playing against the Detroit Red Wings in Detroit, and they had some really good teams back then with the likes of Yzerman and Shanahan and Larionov, and so some of those guys. That was a big moment as well. I think about the opportunity to fight the late Bob Probert in Chicago one night, and that was kind of a little bit of a calling card. As a younger, tougher player, and to have that opportunity or that experience, of going toe to toe with Bob Probert, that was always something I remember fondly. So a lot of great experiences, a lot of great people in the game, and just lucky to have been part of those organizations.
Would that have been in the old Chicago Stadium?
Yeah, I just missed it. I just missed the old Chicago Stadium, so got in the new building. But yeah, we're great experience. Real good, great place to catch a hockey game. The national anthem there is pretty infamous, right? With the singer and how loud it gets. So yeah, real good atmosphere. So played in a lot of great buildings. Had an opportunity to play with Mark Messier with the New York Rangers as well, and played on his line for a little bit. So, I don't talk a whole lot about my hockey career, but there were some fond memories for sure.
No, absolutely. Like I said, pretty illustrious career to play in the league for as long as you did. And it's great that, like you said, you're coming back to New Brunswick and imparting some of the knowledge and skills that you picked up along the way here in your journey through hockey. Tell us a little bit about maybe how good it is to be back in New Brunswick after being on the road here for a number of years.
Yeah, it's wonderful. It's great to be back. I think that, again, as I said earlier on, the opportunity to work in your home province and at this level is something that's I recognize it as an excellent opportunity. So a lot of friends and family around, and a lot of people that are involved, and a lot of people are big fans of the Sea Dogs. And St. John's always been a really good hockey town. You think about the Vitos, you think about the St. John Flames that were here, and all the success that the Sea Dogs have had as well. So it's great to be part of that. Great to be part of the community here as well. And it's a great hockey community. A lot of real good hockey fans, and just happy to be part of it.
No, like I said, you guys have some big aspirations this year, obviously, with what's coming up here in the spring. You talk about having that tight team unity sort of thing. Could be some changes here coming in Christmas with the trade deadline. Possibly you guys have some draft picks to play with, maybe acquiring some players. You have a plan sort of going forward into sort of bringing everybody together as a team, maybe come after Christmas when there could be some additions to the lineup?
Well, we know that's part of the process, right, for us, and we're well prepared this season heading into it. With we all know what's at stake, so the bid was huge for the organization, huge for the city, and obviously we recognize the opportunity to host here, and our goal ultimately is to win a Memorial Cup here on home ice.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The season really starts sort of after Christmas, and like I said, it's going to be fun to watch you guys on the ice here going into the spring. I want to give you a big thank you for taking some time here for us, and good luck this weekend and the rest of the way through, and we look forward to seeing you at the rink.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks for having me.